video about trichotillomania, and if you don't know what that is, stay tuned. You will see and find out. But if you also don't know what it is, like really, it's a hair pulling disorder. It's body-focused repetitive behaviors. That is like the classification of it. I'm going to show pictures, so if that is something that triggers you, don't watch this video. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my history with trich. I'm going to tell you about how bad it's gotten, the distinctions between self-harm of trich and like OCD-based like trich, how I define it at least. Essentially accepting that trichotillomania is like most things. It's a process. It's a journey. There are wins, woo. There are losses. So that's what this video is going to be about. An anxiety, OCD-based, body-focused, repetitive behavior kind of thing. If a person is feeling in distress, they may go to pull, hair pulling. For me, for instance, I only pull from my eyebrows and my eyelashes. But I've been hair pulling since I was about 13. And I'm 26. Hair pulling disorder, that one is the longest mental health condition I've had that predates back before I even dealt with OCD. When I started having symptoms at 19, and then when I was diagnosed at 21, started out like I would get a lot of my eyelashes would fall out, so I would get like a clump feeling, like the eyelashes just kind of like clump together, and then it annoys me and it bothers me, so I went to pull them out to kind of like alleviate that. I didn't like how thick my eyebrows were, so I started plucking them. It wasn't like, I think I had gaps in my eyelashes, but I think that was probably the furthest extent of it for a long time. So it didn't really get really bad until 2017. Okay, we can talk about self-harm versus OCD-based distinctions. So I found out what hair pulling self-harm is for me in 2017. When I would pull, and I define it still today as like OCD based, it's like, okay, I'm feeling anxious, so I'm starting to get, say I'm watching like an upsetting video or something, right, like some like compilation of people yelling at other people, so I would start, pulling, it's a self-soothing kind of thing, like I'd pull to like make myself feel better kind of thing, or in the hopes of feeling better, or at least not as anxious. So what I would do when it was OCD based is I would kind of pull it out, I'd pull the hair out, and then I'd rub it in between my fingers. And then a lot of the time I would kind of keep it in like a little pile, and I would count how many hairs there were. So anything under 10 is just like OCD based trich, so not self-harm. And then anything, if I pulled out like 10 of, like 20 of them, or more than that, then that is what I constitute as self-harm. So when I would just like localize it and maybe have a couple gaps or something, and it would be under 10 hairs, then that would be like OCD. That was just that. But if I like pulled until my entire eyebrow was gone, which is what happened in 2017 multiple times, then that would be self-harm. Because I like don't stop. I just do it until there's nothing left. And I'm dealing with borderline personality disorder. I'm very all or nothing. So, a lot of the time, I'd pull a bunch, and then I'd be like, well, fuck it, might as well just take the whole thing out. So then I would continue going. And that's how I define the self-harm. Part of it is, like, I don't stop. It's like I can't stop, and I just keep going until there's legitimately nothing left. Something about pulling at night, especially. It's almost like when I'm pulling at night, and it's dark, and my lights are out, like, everything like that. Even, like, especially, like, still today. I don't really totally remember all the other past times I did it, but especially today, when I pull, I'd say even in the last year, maybe 2 years, so like 2018, 2019, 2020, when I would pull at night, it was almost like it wasn't happening. Like, there were no consequences to it. Like, I could just pull until I felt better, and even then, I don't really feel better, because then if I go and look in the mirror at the damage, and I'm like, oh crap, now I feel bad. When I do it at night, it's like nothing else matters, in a sense. It's a very, like, escapism kind of thing, and it's almost like nothing happened, until I wake up the next day, and I'm like, oh wait, where's my eyebrow? And then it's gone. And I'm like, shit. So, then it's more of an issue. And I don't even know how, back in, like, 2017, 2018, I don't know how I, like, because I didn't cover it up. I would just, like, I would do this with the scratching as well, but like it was like I would if I pulled my eyebrow out, I'd be like, well, now I have to wear it as like that's my consequence, so I shouldn't do that because then I'll have to bareface and walk around and people will only see me with one eyebrow and then all this kind of stuff. So I would kind of like accept it as part of my fate in a sense, my consequence. But I think that kind of bred into the shame of it too, of like not covering up in a sense, and then like it would kind of keep me within that cycle, so then I would wind up pulling more. The biggest thing that I have found that has helped me has been breaking that cycle, so like breaking the shame and stuff. I can't really do much about my eyelashes when I have gaps. Even right now there are a few gaps, but in my eyes today, as of June 2020, they are the most full and like luscious as they've ever been in my life, so that's really awesome. For my eyebrows, like I do cover them up with makeup. I just draw on brows, which you will see because I have filmed clips of that and you'll see it in this video, me doing that. I find that helpful. There's something about the illusion of having my eyebrow there that I allow it to grow back. Back in like 2018, I started really getting treatment for some of the other self-harm stuff and definitely the suicidality, and I found that as those things faded away, the trichotillomania got a lot worse or became really the only focus of like symptomatic stuff that I was having. The other thing that I have found helpful is there's something about if I can keep my hands busy. The worst thing about having self-harm related to my hands, I find, is that I can't like leave them somewhere and then like wander off. Like I'm always with my hands. So there's that kind of challenge. I have tried in the past like putting on gloves and such, because again, probably pre-2018, I would have the most trouble because I'd be half asleep pulling and everything. But as of like middle 2019, I'd say that I have eliminated that type of pulling. If I pull now, it's more like when I am aware of it and I'm awake and everything, or I'm trying to go to sleep but it's not working for whatever reason. The other thing has been that I've been getting itchy eyes at night, and so when I get itchy eyes, I'm kind of already in the vicinity, so then I start pulling. Trying to like radically accept it and just be like, okay, well I don't have an eyebrow, or like I'm missing part of an eyebrow or something, and now I have to just kind of put the makeup on and just move on with my day, just distract myself from it and just try to cope in a different way. I find that to be helpful. Like I have mentioned, I'm going to film a clip where I show all my different toys and stuff that I use. I have also found that putting things in my mouth, like having things in my mouth, keeps my hands busy, particularly with candy. If I can chew it all up into nothingness in a sense, that kind of relieves that urge from my fingers if I have something in my mouth. So I chew on like ice cubes, that definitely helps a lot. That's always been helpful for me. Chewing ice cubes, like chewing on hard candy, even just like if I don't even have candy, like cough drops or something, like chewing on that. Again, it's that like turning something into nothing. That's something that I really kind of like am attuned with and like really kind of fixate on. Something to keep my hands busy. Sometimes just even like putting my hands farther away from me is helpful. I was able to knock off sleepy pulling, which is good. I really haven't done that in over a year probably. I would say though that like lotion is really good, like scents. But I could always spray perfume in the air, aromatherapy, lavender kind of stuff, so I put that like on my wrists here and rub it, and then on the back of my hands, rub it, and then on my jawline, and then down my neck. It was actually down in the last couple of weeks. Like I hadn't been doing it, so it's kind of just that like radical acceptance of it that it's going to be something that I struggle with for a while. But that doesn't mean that I will like I might always have it. I might always have the urge, but that doesn't mean that I'll always act on it. So that's like a helpful thing to remind myself of too, that like it comes and goes in waves. Like it's a struggle for me right now, but like it's kind of taking it for what it is and just kind of having some gratitude, I guess, about it, like it could be worse kind of thing. Music actually and ambient sounds can be helpful. I'm pretty in the mood for like listening to like creepypasta, or like if I'm in the mood to listen to an ASMR. I like Dennis ASMR, especially as of late. Creepypasta like Creeps McPasta or Mr. Creepypasta, or knowing when to get up is a big one. So like knowing like, okay, I need to like move like out of this bed so I'm not doing that behavior kind of thing. That would be helpful.
We're in the same boat, heading for different shores, facing each other, grasping at different oars. We're cornered in a stalemate, but the sun is down, it's getting late. I've either gotta